So I am in the middle of processing circuit boards, getting them ready for the next step that I'll be doing. So the main thing I'm going to be doing here is removing any large items, any steel, so steel that's encased around these things. I'll remove the steel and get to the pins later, but for now I'm just, like I said, removing the big ticket items off of this, making it a more compact factor. Some of these items I will, if there's enough of them, I'll process them separately. Some of them I will process in groups. And I'm just trying to get as much of the big items off the board because I'm going to be sending this through a hammer mill, and the hammer mill that I have isn't huge. It's got about a 7 by 3 inch throat, I want to say, so I don't want to send too big of items through it. And the big thing I want to avoid is sending steel through it, because the steel won't be crushed. It'll just be, you know, pulverized. But good grief! But it may just make a bunch of noise in the machine instead of actually being made smaller. And that'll do me no good. So if I can get it off here, saves me the trouble going through the thing. And then I'm just sorting them into 2 grades. This will be a low grade board because there's nothing on it of real consequence. These items I could send through the machine, but I kind of want to see what's in them independently. So like I said, if I gather enough of them, I'll send them through as individuals, or at least with similar items. So that was a bunch of resistors, and it looks like all of these are resistors, so I'll send them all into the resistor bucket. There's one transistor there. The rest of that's diodes. There's just some kind of little rectifier or something. Then there's some surface mount items on the back. Again, low grade. There's a resistor on this one. It was a similar board. And yes, I could pull these smaller resistors off, but I'm not going to worry about them. That's it. And this one does have one little chip on the back, but I'm not worried about one little chip. The other thing I want to make sure that I remove is aluminum capacitors. They will just bog the machine down. So this board, we've got all of our silver switches on it, LEDs, a few little chips, and that's about it. This one's possibly gold flash though. So I'm going to put it over into a higher grade. This one's got one little processor on it. Looks like maybe some gold flashing on it. That's about it though. But I'll send it through the higher grade. Now this, see, here's what I was talking about. All of this is steel. Picking up there. Yeah, all of that steel. So I don't want to send that through the machine if I can help it. First things first, aluminum capacitors. There's a couple crystal oscillators there. That's a transistor. This one has a lot of chips on it, so this will definitely go through the higher grade slot. Got one. Be right back. I got my impact driver in here. Had it out working with it the other day. Must not have brought it back. This has one little MOSFET in it here. Hold it with my fingers. There we go. One little MOSFET there that we can remove. Everything else on this board I'm going to run through the machine except for the steel. And this again looks like it's got gold flashing on the board, so definitely a higher quality board. Now these may have, in fact they do have, I can see some of them now, gold fingers or gold pins in them, but I'm not worried about that right now. I just don't want to send the steel through. So I will remove the steel casings and I will make sure that they don't have anything in them before I do anything else with them. See, some of these came out, left the fingers, and some of them took the fingers with them, or pins rather. So that board will go into the high quality stuff. That can go over there. tend to be aluminum capacitors. Got a few little chips, a few little resistors and diodes. That's it. Low quality. I just knocked a bunch of boards over there. I'm just trying to get enough boards together so that I can run them through and see how this process works for me. It's going to be the first time I tried it. The only thing I've run through the hammer mill so far has been glass. A little transistor, one little ceramic capacitor. Diodes and resistors. This board looks like we just got a bunch of diodes and resistors, a few little chips. There are a few items that are resin dipped here that may be ceramic capacitors. So we'll go ahead and take those off so we can run all of them at the same time. Looks like a aluminum capacitor. Yep. That looks like wires and resistors, and like I said, a few little chips. And I'm going to run the low grade stuff first before I run any of the higher grade stuff. That way if the low grade stuff doesn't come out the way I want it to, I won't waste my time. Plastic I'm not worried about as much. But if I send that through, it's going to cause a lot of noise and not really do anything. Okay, the other thing I look out for is processors that have a metal cap on them. Usually it's copper, but I don't want to send it through either if I can help it. So this board, I've removed all the steel. It's got having some battery issues with my camera, but I've now removed all the items I need to on this. These are plastic, so that's fine to go through. There's a little bit of steel on this, no big deal. Some rectifiers, some chips and whatnot. So this is going to go into the higher grade stuff because of the number of chips on it. It's copper flash, so no big deal there. But we'll see what we can get out of that. Another low grade board here. I could go through and pull off all the larger resistors on it, but I'm not going to bother. It's just got a few little chips on it. That one's ready to go. No steel on it, it's a big thing. This one, all this still needs to come off. That one looks like it's actually gold plated around it. That's the HDMI port. That looks like it might be gold plated as well. But get through here and get these aluminum capacitors off. Try and keep the amount of aluminum going through to a minimum. Got some crystal oscillators here. We'll go ahead and remove. That's all of the aluminum pieces. Go ahead and remove this one, resin dipped over here. Everything else on here is rectifiers and chips. Nothing on the back to worry about. This one looks like it might be gold flashed again, so we just need to remove the steel. This one I'll definitely want to keep separate. Run it through something to remove that plate of gold on it. And all those fingers stay put, and that's perfectly fine if the fingers stay put, because the hammer mill is just going to, you know, release all these from the board. Yeah, that's going to go on the higher grade boards. This one, again, we got to remove all this because of the steel content. Gold flashed again. We got a few aluminum capacitors here. The rest of it looks like it's just resistors and a few little surface mount components. Nothing on the back. So this will go on the higher grade side again. We just need to get rid of these guys. Try and do it without tearing the board up, but I don't think it's going to cooperate with me. Some of the pins stayed on that one. And they look like good pins too. Show you here in just a second what I'm talking about. You can see that pin is plated in gold the entire way. I wish those were pure gold, but you know, oh well. That goes over to there. These go over to be processed further later. Okay, these are all CD-ROM drive boards, so they don't really need anything. They're all high-grade boards because they've got gold in them and they've got chips. So we'll put all these through. Now, That one looks like it's got a... There's one there too. Let me go through these. And the reason I'm stopping is because I do see some gold banded crystal oscillators. Some of them are tiny and I won't worry about those. But this one's got a larger one on it. Actually, not this one. This one's got a larger one on it. See if I can get him off. Might need the chisel to get it off. Yeah, I'd have to chisel it off. You know what? I'm going to side with just sending it through the just going to send it through the hammer mill. Tantalum capacitors, same deal. Everything will go through the hammer mill and get ground up into a much smaller material. I'll do some separation then and take it further from there. There's a little handful. This one just looks like it. Good grief. Not want to come off clean at all. Big capacitors though. These little bits just have a little bit of low grade stuff on them. This one looks like I've taken apart all the way up for the most part. Yeah, just capacitors, diodes, and a few little chips. Low grade. This one looks like it had a chip on it at some point. I got one steel component here to remove. And the rest of that can go into the low grade stuff. Yeah. Capacitors. Few little chips, pins. The pins actually look good on this. There's another little chip or something there. Well, that's the back side of that connector, it looks like. Is that steel? No, it's like rubber. So that's low grade. It's got some what looks like tantalum capacitors and other things over here. So this is a low grade board again. Looks like I've depopulated it pretty good. No steel on it. That's the important bit. Lots of tantalum capacitors and other things on the back though. This one, low grade stuff. We got some critters here that definitely need to be removed. You can check those, they might be aluminum. Got pins. Well, this came out of the servers because these are the where the fans connect to. But even those have gold fingers on them. Front side of the board's got a bunch of little chips on it. Some tantalum capacitors and whatnot. A few little items here to remove. LED LED or a button? Those are buttons. We'll send it through as is. This I'm going to put on I don't see gold on it really. Get this off. Just because if I can get this off now, I don't have to send it through the machine and muck that up. Don't see any gold flashing on it really. Actually, it might be. I'm going to put it with a higher grade. Yeah, this one got to remove these guys. Potentiometers and a switch. The little bit of steel on the buttons I'm not worried about. Can I get that? Backside of the board doesn't really have anything. Oh, I do have these. These are all LEDs. If I can get a hold of it, I can pull it off, which is the preference because that does look like steel. Okay. Now I'll just chunk that in with the low grade boards. This, lots of aluminum capacitors to pull off. Yeah, sometimes I wish I was a electronics guy that could understand, or that did understand, what all these components do. Because, I mean, this one board has got like 50 capacitors on it. And I'm sure they do something to make the circuit work. And it just seems like, you know, if you're curious what's inside these, you get a little roll of aluminum and paper with some electrolytic fluid in there. Now with all those out of the way, I can see that there's a crystal oscillator. There's a transistor and a MOSFET on here that I have not gotten off previously. That's another aluminum capacitor. Rip the top off of. And there's one more. Potentially ceramic capacitor. The rest of that is just garbage. A few little chips on the back, so we'll toss it in the low grade. Now this has a flyback transformer on it, which is this guy. So this probably came off of one of. I just love how these boards fall apart sometimes. Big diodes. I think the rest of that will do fine. I think this came off of one of the projector TVs. Actually, this may have come off the karaoke machine. And I think I'm going to call it a night here video-wise. I'll keep processing these, but I don't want to bore you guys with going through all of them. Because all I'm doing is the same thing. At least at this point. Go ahead and get this guy off, because I'm going to have to process him separately. Get a transistor on here. So this guy will have to get processed separately because there is some copper in here. I'm not sure how much, but I'll process all those at one time. See what I can get out of them. I know I've got about a dozen of them around here. From all the monitors and TVs I've pulled apart. One red or orange capacitor here. Don't know what that signified, if it signified anything. Still. small transistor. Larger transistor. Those guys. More of those. The rest of that is resistors, diodes, and a couple little tunable items, so they may have a little bit of copper in them, but I'm not worried about copper on these. There's a little bit of steel left on there, but oh well. Do I have anything else interesting over here that I want to show you guys? These are data ports. It's just got some pins and chips on it. That's all off, so this is all just plastic and metal now. I'm going to put with the good stuff. This, some chips, no steel to speak of. I'll toss in with the lows. Low. Joe's pool hall. This board has a few little chips on it. The only thing I'm going to remove from this, well, actually two little things I'm going to remove from this. One being this capacitor. The other one being this little guy. And this looks like an LCD panel. I'll go ahead and remove that too, just to be safe. That's the backlight. I cracked it. Just dropping it right there. So the rest of that's fine to go through as is. That might have a little bit of steel on it, but hopefully it won't cause too much of a problem. Gold fingers, some good looking gold components on that, so that's going to go through the high quality side and that's going to remove. It's got 3 little capacitors on it that will pop off. Everything else on that looks fine. That looks I'm going to side with high quality on that. This thingamabobber, I don't remember what the heck is inside it, but I don't remember it looking all that impressive, so it's going into low quality. This, we did one of these earlier. Capacitors off of it. Looks like it's got some tantalums and whatnot. Nothing to worry about in terms of steel. I think I put that in there. I don't remember. This board, another fan board. That's those two. Back we got two more of these guys. Big tantalum capacitors. Debating whether I should take those off or not. This I think I sided with gold on it. Not have the big tantalum. Actually, it does because they're black. Now we'll process it all through. I got boards that fill into my other bucket. Okay, I'm going to do these and that'll be like, I'll call it. Those are just more of the hard drive boards. This one, there's not really anything to worry about on. I'll take that guy off just in case. The rest of that I think is fine. But low quality. This is one of the data cards I broke apart. Nothing really exciting on that. Low quality. This is a bunch of chips for 256 megabyte card of some kind. Low quality. Here we've got see, now if the steel comes off like this, I can live with that. I just need it all to come off. We have a crystal oscillator there. This one, I don't know if it's going to come off easily or not. And taking board with it. Oh well. Nothing of consequence on that piece of board anyway. It does go up under. Hang on a second. This one's got a few big tantalums on it, otherwise nothing of consequence. I think I am going to go and pull these big tantalums off. Not wanting to budge. Too many pins. Too many solder connections. I'll take what I can get. The rest of it go through and get pulverized. I am going to go back for these tantalums if they come off clean. They do. And I guess I better grab these black ones too. I know I've got some server boards with decent tantalum capacitors on them, so the rest of that is ready to go, and it will just go through it in the high grade boards. Said I'm going to go ahead and pull these guys off. Like I said, I know I've got more of those on server boards. If there's any more on there. Thank you, library. Here. I'm not sure where that guy went. Said I wouldn't keep you guys here all the time, but I don't think I'm keeping my promise very well. So I'll clear it off now. I'm going to go back through here because it looks like I decided that if it's got silver buttons on it, I want to put it into the higher grade side. I think we'll leave it there. So that's it for tonight, guys. I will continue processing all this and bring you in for the next step. Have a good one.